This video is going to go over the opener for the Wednesday Chapter 11 material. I'm so excited, I have a headset now. So, you should pause the video, try each of these. Basically, we're now starting to review for the final. So, pause, and I'll see you in a moment. Welcome back. So, in A, we have 9 times x to the 0th power times y to the negative 3. I'm going to take it piece by piece. 9, nothing's weird, times x to the 0 power is 1. Any non-zero entity raised to the 0 power is 1. Y to the negative 3. A negative exponent tells me a reciprocal. So this is going to be times 1 over y to the 3rd. The exponent becomes a positive as it passes over the fraction bar. And typically this would get cleaned up a little bit. 9 times 1 times 1 is 9 over y to the 3rd. Okay. Hopefully you tried B. If you didn't, pause and then come back. So in B, we have negative 5p cubed, that whole quantity squared. If you have an entire quantity squared, this square is going to apply to all the parts inside. So it's going to be negative 5 squared and p cubed squared. Negative 5 squared is negative 5 times negative 5, or 25. And please be careful that you do have the parentheses. P cubed quantity squared. Since I see the p, the base, only once, the exponents are going to get multiplied, and that is p to the 6th. Okay, hopefully you have tried C. If not, pause the video and then return. So in C, it's a complicated fraction, all of it raised to the 4th. The first thing I'm going to do is simplify the fraction that's inside the parentheses. 2, and I'm going to go piece by piece. So I'm going to do the coefficients, the numbers in front first. 2 over 6 simplifies because 2 goes into both 2 and 6. That becomes 1 over 3. Next, x squared over x to the 4th. I see the x more than once, and it's part of a fraction. So I'm going to subtract the exponents. I see the larger exponent of 4 in the denominator, so I'm going to keep the x in the denominator, and now I'm going to subtract the exponents. 4 minus 2 is 2. Y cubed over y to the negative 2. I see the y in both the numerator and denominator, so I'm going to subtract the exponents. The larger exponent is in the numerator, the cubed, so I'm going to have y in the numerator, and 3 minus a negative 2 is the same as 3 plus 2, which is y to the 5th. So if I clean that up a little bit, I'll have y to the 5th over 3 times x squared, all raised to the 4th. Now, similar to the prior problem, I have something in parentheses raised to an exponent. Every piece that's inside is going to get raised to the 4th. So I have y to the 5th raised to the 4th over 3 raised to the 4th times x squared raised to the 4th. Y to the 5th raised to the 4th. I see the y only once, so the exponents are going to get multiplied, and that is y to the 20th over 3 to the 4th is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which is 81. X squared raised to the 4th. I see the x only once. The exponents are going to get multiplied. That is x to the 8th, and that is your final answer. Okay, hopefully you've tried D. If not, pause the video and then come back. So the very first thing I notice about D is all of the coefficients are even, so before I even do anything, I'm going to divide everything by 2. And I'm going to get x squared minus 16x equals negative 15. So I have a variety of options. I can try and solve this by factoring. Square roots won't work because of the linear term, but I do have factoring. I could solve it using completing the square, because b is even, and I always have the quadratic formula. Since b is even, I'm going to use completing the square. I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. I also see it easily factors, but if you want to factor, you can. So this is x squared minus 16x plus box is equal to negative 15 plus box. Well, what goes into the box? Divide the negative 16 by 2. You'll get negative 8, and then you square it, which is a positive 64. So that's what goes in the box. The left-hand side is going to factor as x minus 8, quantity squared, is equal to negative 15 plus 64 is 49. So now I'm going to take the square root of both sides. And I'm going to get x minus 8 is equal to plus or minus 7. So I'm going to consider two cases. X minus 8 is equal to negative 7, or x minus 8 is equal to positive 7. Add 8 to both sides in both cases, and I'm going to get x is equal to 1, or x is equal to 15. And if you had added 15 over here and gotten x squared minus 16x plus 15 equals 0, it would have factored as x minus 1 times x minus 15 equals 0. So you would still get the same solutions. Okay, that is the opener.